So how many of you think that we watch too much television? Well, a few of us maybe watch a little bit too much. But we need the entertainment, right? We want to know who's got talent. And of course, there's the always necessary fake news. But for about 1 billion people now living on the planet, they have access to television and radio through public broadcasting stations. And these people that live on the edge of poverty are finding that the radio and the TVs and now cell phone services may be the secret solution to transporting them from poverty to prosperity. You see, in many of these most emerging markets, in the developing markets of the world, they're driven really by a need for information. It's more than a want. They're driven by this need, not just to get along or get by, but to get ahead. And for them, TV specifically is the place that they're going. But to really appreciate just how revolutionary this can be and just how important this solution can be, it's important to realize just how difficult it's becoming to solve the problem of poverty. Breaking the bonds of poverty is becoming more and more difficult, especially as we work lower and lower in the base of the pyramid. And it's at a time where it's even more important that we solve the problem. According to the World Bank, of the world's poorest, 800 million of those are involved in some form or fashion in agriculture. They're farmers. Whether it's livestock or crops or aquaculture, they're growing things to make a living. While at the same time, we're looking for the world to grow enough food to service another 1 billion people over the next decade or so. So quite literally, the farmers, the people that we're looking to grow the food to take care of the world's growing population, don't even grow enough to feed their own families. It's quite a conundrum. But luckily today, I think that we have the solution, or at least we have a solution. There's actually a way to have people that are earning pennies, literally pennies, and leverage what they do now into earning dollars in income. The most impoverished of those in the marketplace today can become, in short order, the middle class of tomorrow. And we can do it relatively inexpensively. We now know from statistically significant data, gathered from multiple studies done at numerous high-ranking universities, that hundreds of millions of farmers, hundreds of millions, can literally be lifted out of poverty and into prosperity using this new technology. If you think about half of the population that's coming to the planet over the next decade is coming out of Africa, it's just fitting that the people that came up with this solution is a group of men and women led by a lifelong social entrepreneur based in Kenya. And what they've done is essentially take a multimedia platform built around the combination of education and entertainment, and they've combined those two together to create a powerful tool. And this group is based, again, in Kenya, and the name of the show is named after a Swahili word for small farm, which is shamba. And so the name of their most popular show, the one that's got millions of viewers now, is something of a farm makeover show, like we have here with homes and hotels and the like, but for farms. And it's called Shamba Shape Up. I thought I'd let you take a look.
Shamba Shape Up is East Africa's leading farmer TV program, reaching over 9 million people across East Africa. The program provides smallholder farmers with the information they need, from milk to maize in their own home, via TV, radio, SMS, and print. We have over 100,000 farmers request more information, and they are now on our database. From this, we can map their location and their interests. We can send these farmers questionnaires about how to improve the Shamba Shape Up program and what their information needs are. We can also invite farmers watching the show to join a particular interest group, for example, the potato group. They SMS potato into the database, and our expert can feed them with relevant information and answer questions directly. The program leads viewers around local farms, identifying problems and bringing in experts to solve them in practical ways. Rural viewers relate closely to the featured families and their issues. Research shows that they in turn adopt many of the improved practices, increasing incomes and improving livelihoods. This makeover reality show has been a huge success. Of the millions who watch the show, 87% learn something new from the program each series, and 50% adopt new practices. That's about 8 million people learning about chickens, dairy, soil, pests and diseases, tree planting, horticulture, water harvesting, and more. Recent in-depth research by Reading University, interviewing over 13,000 farmers in 25 counties of Kenya, showed that over 450,000 households had increased their incomes as a direct result of watching Shamba Shepherd. The viewers who farm maize or have at least one dairy cow and adopted changes from the Shamba Shepherd program increased their income or value of produce by $24,718,648. The program's success has seen it win several awards. And the program continues to grow, with episodes being filmed in both Uganda and Tanzania, and hoping to start a new series in Ethiopia. And the launch of an exciting mobile information service and a call center in Kenya called iShamba. Join us in this exciting venture and feature your improved farming technology on the show.
So what did you think? It's interesting, huh? Well, as the founder of the World Food Bank, which is a benevolently missioned for-profit company, I'm always looking for the latest and greatest ways to take farmers in developing markets and move them from poverty to prosperity. And we've worked tirelessly to take thousands and tens of thousands. Now we have the technology to move millions. So we're super excited, and this is the reason the World Food Bank has partnered with the Medii company to create the Medii Group. One is it has reach. As you saw in the presentation, more than 9 million farmers are watching this program on a regular basis, just in Kenya and parts of Tanzania. That's 20% of the population is watching this show on a regular basis. 50% have changed the way that they practice their agriculture. 50%. So let's compare. The most popular show watched in the U.S. on a given year is the Super Bowl. They have almost 100 million people, and they spend hundreds of millions in advertising, and 8.4% of those interviewed said that their tendency to change what they might purchase over the next month or two was affected by that advertising. 8.4%. Here, 50% actually apply what they learned. That's reach. And it's interactive. It's interactive in a number of ways, right? It's television, it's radio, it's SMS messaging. So it gets information to the farmers where they need it, when they need it. It gives them the information not just on their specific crop because they've shared. It gives them the climate information. It gives them the weather information specific to their geography. They can also share best practices. There's so much more information that they can get and receive. It creates a real powerhouse. And it's so powerful that the data created can be used to leverage a number of other benefits. Not just the data that's being pushed out, but the data that can be queried. These farmers can be asked, how are your crops doing compared to where they should be, respective of the place in the season? They can be asked, how much rainfall have you had versus what we predicted from our predictive data? All of this together makes for a very powerful platform. And when you consider that this multimedia platform alone has taken millions of people and traded and changed the way that they manage their farms, you probably, like me, would say, well, what would it take to go from millions to hundreds of millions? Because that's really the numbers that we need. Well, obviously, it takes scale. It needs to be scalable. So for us, we said, To be scalable, it needs to be part of an integrated ecosystem. So we set about connecting the dots, and we came across the concept of 4 critical components that together would create an ecosystem that would help make farmers profitable and sustainable and resilient. And when these 4 components are integrated together and they work collaboratively, we call it a magic box. They're all centered around access. And the first is access to education. If you can't tell already, MEDI has this nailed. They're really, really good at getting good education told in the right way to the right people in massive, massive numbers. The second is inputs. So we're talking about making sure that those small farmers, after they've learned better ways to practice agriculture, also have the access to the higher quality seeds, the fertilizers, and the crop protection that they need to be able to grow strong crops, to ensure that the farmers and their farms flourish. The third is finances. Farmers often need dollars to help fund, not given money, but financed. They need the dollars to be able to support purchasing those high-quality inputs. And the people that provide the financing benefit by partnering in this ecosystem, right? If you're lending money to a farmer and he's been well-educated on best practices and he's purchasing with the money you give him higher quality seed and fertilizer, not only is he more likely to grow bigger, better, and all the way around, but when things are bad, when there's pests, when there's drought, he's less likely to fail. So financial arms are delighted to be part of this ecosystem. And the fourth is markets, and this really ties in where we come from. The World Food Bank goes to those farmers and supports them because a smallhold farmer who knows what to do and how to do it and even wants to purchase those inputs is sometimes reticent to do so simply because he doesn't know that if he grows what he wants to grow, that there'll be someone on the other end to buy it. So World Food Bank comes in and guarantees a marketplace with a minimum price for those farmers that grow using higher quality inputs and use best practices. And now we're bringing in additional partners to support the growth from millions to tens of millions of people. Now, these 4 components create what we consider to be a fairly simple ecosystem. And we know from experience that systems work better than the old methodologies of projects and programs, especially when they're done alone or done in a vacuum. Ecosystems work much better because the stakeholders all benefit directly, and they benefit from the synergy of working with one another. Well, more than just effective, this multimedia platform has proven to be efficient. When we took the number of farmers who changed their farming practices and we figured the cost of production versus the cost of those who actually changed what they did, it was less than $1. Less than $1. Now, I've been part of programs around the world where we spent hundreds and even thousands of dollars to train a smallhold farmer in a way to change the way he practices. We're doing it now for less than $1. So people like Angela, who used to be a subsistence farmer, is now a commercial farmer of cabbage and other things. And Angela, who was growing outside, or Anna, who's growing outside, now has indoor farming with irrigation on top of what she did before. And Jeffrey, every time we see Jeffrey, has twice as many chickens as the time that we saw him before. It's really, really impressive. And these people they're moving not just from poverty to prosperity. They literally are changing the way that their community operates. They're changing the way that the world that they live around is becoming. They are building collaboratively, and it's bringing a prosperity that no one's seen before in mass numbers. So what I would like to invite you today to do is to consider being part of this effort. Whether you're involved in education or finance, whether you're involved in agriculture or markets, or you just want to plug in somewhere, we know that we can not only take farmers through this leveraging of a multimedia platform from poverty to prosperity. If we do it right, We're going to take hundreds of millions of farmers, and we're going to have them solve the next big problem. We're going to give them the power to feed the world. Thank you.